Call to order the October 6th meeting of the Eastham Select Board. This meeting will be video recorded and broadcast over local access channel 8 and through the town website at www.eastham-ma.gov. So, we have to start off with my joke, and Jackie, this one is awful. So
Okay.
just for you. What do you call a dad who's an attorney? A father-in-law. All right, so now, told you it was bad. For my grandkids. I get them from.
And dad joke combo there. That really
You know, it's good. You like that one?
Scary joke.
That was a good one. All right, so I think what we're going to do is there's a video we would like to run before we go to the first item on the agenda. So Wayne or Rick, if you're ready to run it,
Information.
we'll do the video first, then we'll do
Get it
public
over.
information.
This is the 30th anniversary of the Children's Place, which of course was a partnership with the town of Eastham. So I thought it was a really good video.
We don't start with what's wrong and what can we do to help you. We are, what do you want? What's your dream for your child? What's your dream for your family? What do you think is possible? And how can we partner with you on that process? I'm Erin Sullivan, and I'm the proud executive director of Cape Cod Children's Place. I am standing on the shoulder of greatness of this community, that we had community members come together 30 years ago to start this incredible organization. One of the legacies of Cape Cod Children's Place is that we listen to our community and we come together with our community to find the solutions. 30 years ago, a conversation started that people in the Outer Cape, the Lower and Outer Cape, had very limited resources when it came to childcare options. And so Elizabeth Aldred and her group of friends got together. They put together a vision, they put together some funding, and with the partners with the town of Eastham, we were able to open Cape Cod Children's Place.
Right away, they just kind of descended on us and helped us financially and emotionally get through. My name is Danielle Lampron, and my daughter Lily Lampron has gone here since she was 7 months old. Lily was the first baby accepted back into the baby room after quarantine and everything. They were just always checking in with us, and it was really amazing. It made us feel like this was more than just a school. It was more like a family, an extension of family during those times.
Our Early Learning Center that's located in Eastham, we are able to serve 40 families. It's a place of hope, it's a place of joy, it's a place of learning, and we're so lucky to be able to witness these children, many of whom have been with us since they were babies, until they go into kindergarten.
Trying to work full-time and have him in school, I don't know what I would do without it. I have no idea. My name is Grace, and I'm from Eastham. My child comes to Children's Place since he was almost 2 years old. Not only is it educational, but caring and safe and fun, which is the biggest part, you know.
Without their help, I wouldn't be able to send my baby to daycare and not be able to go to my job. My name is Joelle Sifa. I first met with Cindy here at the Cape Cod Children's Place last year. It was in a moment of my life that was very difficult, because I just had the baby, and then I went into complication after she was born. So Cindy came over and helped me with whatever I needed for assistance with the child and also for my family. Since then, I love this place. So every time they have an event or there is something going on, we call and get information about it. It's a very great organization. I love Cape Cod Children's Place.
Most of our work at Cape Cod Children's Place is actually done out in the community. From the bridge to Provincetown, we have services available for different families. We have play groups, and the play groups look like the little adventurers that are out in the bogs. We have support groups or parent education that is happening either in person or on Zoom.
It's been a valuable resource for parenting, just to help guide through the woods.
It was extremely nice to have an outside perspective of like how to navigate, because you always think I'm doing something right, I'm doing something wrong. I mean, it's we all do something right and wrong. It's, you learn from it, you try to help fix. It's nice to have the valuable resource of the people that work here with the knowledge, the experience. I mean, we go to Cindy still and our oldest is 15.
I was born in Colombia. I moved to the States in '96, and I ended up living in Cape Cod. I always said that the children's place saved my life because I was new here. My baby was a premature, so I was secluded. I learned about the playgroups. I met new moms, and whatever the children's place was doing, I was there. So it was really wonderful.
Cape Cod was affected incredibly hard by the opioid epidemic. When we started seeing more and more of our families that were impacted by substance use disorder, that's where we knew that we could take our expertise and our knowledge of working with families and connect that with the recovery system here on Cape Cod. And that's how we got First Steps together.
It is a program that is oriented towards supporting families with young children who've been impacted by substance use. We hear about what their goals are, and in some cases those goals include reunifying with their children or just working on their parenting and recovery stability. But our ultimate goal is to wrap around folks so they can become independent enough and connected enough in their community to not need us anymore.
Many of the families that we work with, they're the backbone of this economy. They're the fishing people, the landscapers, the teachers. These are people who work hard every day, and they can barely make it sometimes. And so it's our responsibility as a community, as their community, to come together and to make sure that they have the support so that they can thrive and their children can thrive.
They really helped me, especially at that time, like postpartum, after I had the baby and so many complications. They really were there for me, and I'm very grateful.
Our children are here and happy and safe and having a great time.
This is where I'd want to help and donate to. Basically, it trickles down to helping the whole school give everybody what they need to succeed and to learn and to have their kids here. And it's wonderful.
It's helping families that need it.
And it's going back into our community, which is nice.
Now I work for the children's place, so I'm kind of like giving back what I got from the children's place. And I'm really happy.
We are just really excited to have it keep going for another 30 years.
Nice, right?
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Jack, you make me cry before the meetings.
I know, but it was, I saw it and I was like, we are really instrumental. Eastham really responded to,
Yeah,
There were a lot of people I grew up with.
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Wonderful. All right, we'll move to the agenda for public and select board information that's not on the agenda. Anyone on the board? Amy?
Well, I'm going to piggyback on that just for a moment since that came up. So when we moved back here, Joanna grew up here. We moved back here in 2002. That fall, they had a lesbian moms group at the children's place. And we met lifelong friends there. We just spent the day yesterday with a couple from Osterville who came all the way here just to go to that group.
Nice.
And so we still have dear friends from that group 23 years ago. Our kids are all now grown up and mostly gone, but but yeah, it's great, and it's just down it's 2 houses
Yeah.
down from me. Couple other things, vaccine clinic
Oh, yeah.
on Monday, November 3rd from 1 to 4 at the Elks. It's a drive-through clinic. You have to sign up ahead of time. So I believe there are things on the town website for it. I know some emails went out. I did see some things on Facebook too, so hopefully people will.
Can you sign up through my chart?
No, it's VN, well, no, I don't
Is
think
it
so.
VNA?
It's VNA.
Oh, okay.
But, so I'm not positive.
It'll be on the health website. And
Yeah,
we
there's a
can- we
QR
can also
code on
promote it.
the sign,
Right.
yeah.
What's the date again?
November 3rd.
November
Monday,
3rd,
Afternoon.
right. And,
And those are usually pretty fast.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No, you don't. Nope.
You don't have to worry about what CDC says. The governor has said that everyone over age 5 can get a COVID shot in Massachusetts, and it's got to be covered by your insurance. So just so everybody knows that there is conflicting information coming from Washington and coming from Boston, but here, anyone can sign up for it if you're over 5 years old.
And this is flu and or
Flu and
COVID shot, so
COVID.
it's both.
Flu and COVID, yep.
And then one other thing mostly for us, the Cape and Islands Municipal Leader Association
Oh, yeah.
is meeting at the Sheridan
Sure, yeah.
this Friday, and Seasonal Communities Director,
Person.
yeah, I'm not sure what his title is, Ed Mucky Muck. Will be, I believe will be there, or at least somebody from the housing
From
and
the
livable
state.
community.
It's nice to have a good showing when they're in Eastham.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
When is it?
Friday morning
Friday
at
at
7:30.
7:30.
Rich and I are going.
For how long?
It usually
Yeah.
goes from
Less than 2
7:30
hours.
to 9, 9:15.
Nice. Hour and a half.
The breakfast is great.
You can show the flag and depart, Suzanne, if you have to. But I sadly will be driving to Virginia. But it's all right. We'll have
That's
good
all I have.
representation. All right. Jamie or Suzanne, anything? It's not on the agenda? Nope. Okay, I don't. Anyone here or online have anything that they would like to say that is not, bring before us, it's not on the agenda? Yes.
My grandson went to the children's place, and it's a treasure.
It really is.
It's Carolyn, thank you. Children's Place is a treasure. Yes, we know that. Yes, it's excellent. All right. So on to administrative. The first thing is a committee appointment for the Cultural Council, Diane Levine, and I had the opportunity to interview her. This was someone who was just excited to be on it, and it was just wonderful to be there, to see her energy to be on it. She already took the ethics test before, so she can go right in and get sworn in tomorrow, I think. I'm not sure. So this is. It was just nice to see someone just totally excited to be on a committee in Eastham. So I recommend that we appoint her to the Cultural Council.
I'll make a motion to appoint Diane Levine to the Cultural Council.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? You're all in favor?
I
4-0. All right, all opposed. Now we're on to the tax foreclosure recommendation on 130 Pinewoods Drive. Who's, Jackie, that you have that, or is
No,
that?
that's a Richard.
That's a Richard one. All right.
Richard, one unit of Richard.
Well, you have a memo from our town treasurer. This is a parcel that was referred to our tax title attorney, who also does foreclosures for us at the same time, several years ago. And they reached out to us wanting to know what we would like to do with this parcel. It's been in tax title, and it went through a case, I forget the exact term, but it went to the land court as a potential foreclosure. And it's a pending case that we have to decide upon what we'd like to do. It's currently a vacant lot. There's no living situation. It's this land, and we have it in our records as unbuildable. because of some wetland setbacks and wetland areas on the property. And it has an assessed value of about $17,000. And currently, the costs and fees on unpaid taxes is about $7,000. So getting to the point of being able to recover our costs and our fees and the taxes, as you get close to 50% of the value, it gets questionable whether you can do that or not. So that's decision A. Do we want to move forward with a foreclosure? And I'll just remind you that every year I do a review with the collector treasurer foreclosure parcels. We're not looking to throw anyone out of their homes, especially if it's their primary residence. But this one seems to be something that perhaps you might want to consider, since it doesn't involve any home or house or anything like that. There's new laws regarding foreclosure, which is quite different from what they used to be. So we need to make a decision if we were to bring this forward in land court, that are we going to just outright sell the property, or do we have any interest in retaining the property, in which case we need to get an appraisal and pay perhaps the differential between what we're owed and what the value of that appraisal was. So based on that $17,000 of assessed value and the $7,000 of costs and taxes, there might be some additional amount we would have to pay. But I think that's going to be our recommendation, is that we retain the parcel for the time being, in the eventuality that we are able to do something in the future with change in zoning or bylaws or seasonal communities.
All right, question, so right now, it's non-buildable because of the wetlands. So we would, your idea that you just mentioned, with a zoning change or something, we may be something where you could put Suzanne loves it, a tiny house or something on it that would meet in the part of the parcel that's not covered, not a wetland.
Right.
So we might be able to do that. Okay, I was just thinking potentially, I mean, had they thought it were, might want to purchase it for conservation.
Oh, right, that's, that until, and if we ever did something, it would basically be held in conservation, but I don't know that we'd transfer it to the Conservation Commission with the eventuality of that we could do something.
Then, yeah, if we transferred it, you couldn't do it. So, I mean, the only thought I had was potential CPA funds, but that would be transferring it to the Conservation Commission. All right. Suzanne?
Who owns 180? I guess I could have looked that up.
Is that the abutting?
That's the abutting property that has
that's
the
the
wetland on
likely
it.
alternative, right? If you don't want to retain it for yourself, you'd look to sell it to recoup
right
taxes and costs. They would probably be the most interested party, but
No, 180's got the
180
the
has the
full
wetland on it.
It's the one on the other side.
I mean,
yes,
I'm
correct.
I'm interested in retaining it. I had reached out
I
to Karen
think
Strauss for her opinions and
probably already
haven't heard back about if she had feelings.
yeah, I don't know who owns 180. I can,
Yeah, I mean, I can look that up.
Might even be us, who knows?
It might even be us. Who knows? Yeah. And I think the select board, if we wanted to, could put forth an application to CPA on behalf of it being open
for
space.
open space, right.
But then we would be, or housing, I guess. But then
We couldn't,
use it for that purpose.
that's right.
Meaning we could do it without having to give it to the Conservation Commission.
Right, and then you couldn't use it for housing if eventually zoning changed, because it would be then deed restrictive as conservation land.
It's very low value, so it's not
Yeah.
like we need CPA money for
Right,
this.
we
Right.
could just.
I was just thinking, thank you, Jackie,
He
thank
just
you.
mentioned it. I just thought I would
yeah.
clarify that
Thinking
we,
off the top
as
of
the
my head.
board, could
Yeah.
do the.
Jamie,
Yeah, so that was
how's the land, what,
Yeah.
next to it?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
180, the one with the
I had wondered.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so possibly they might have interest in
Scooping up the one next to it.
buying it, but we can retain it. That's fine.
Leave our options open.
I don't think we're gonna change something in any. I don't know enough about the wetland, but I can't imagine
right
we're gonna put a septic system in a tiny house.
in a buffer zone.
And Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I just
If anything, like Rich said, sell it to that other, the 100, the
yeah.
The
adjacent
100
property owner.
could own it as well, yeah.
Or you could sell the whole thing, but they just can't do anything.
So, Rich, you're looking for today,
Yes.
if possible, yes, a vote to foreclose and that the town would retain 130 Pinewoods Road.
Correct.
Is that what we're talking on? Do we have a motion to such?
I move that we
Foreclose.
foreclose the property at 130 Pinewoods Road to the town to retain. Well, we need the decision. Do you want a motion to foreclose or a motion to retain it?
Motion to foreclose and retain the property.
Okay, I move that we foreclose and retain the property at 130 Pinewoods Road.
Is there a second? Jamie was second. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, 4-0. Okay. Let's see, select board goals.
I added the biggie.
You added, yes.
Right at the top.
Yeah. It's in progress.
And you don't have to decide any of these tonight without Bob either. I just wanted to get it to you so you could start thinking about it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm trying to pick some items off of the strategic plan that we're trying to move forward for this.
I mean, I think there's a little overlap with the meeting we just had with zoning task force, right?
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I want everything to weave together for,
and with the green,
yeah.
Green, yeah, the green communities with climate action stuff.
so it's all kind of, there's a lot of stuff that seems like that's moving in parallel. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What we don't want to be is at cross purposes.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that, you know, your goals reflect strategic plan goals and all the other, you know, town plans that we have. So it's more like a highlights reel.
Anybody have anything looking at these they want to subtract or potentially add to the goals?
I did have a question about the Route 6. You have 2027 on there?
2027. For what we're talking about is the pre-25% engineering plans. So in order to do those, the state has agreed to pay for the survey, and then we have to pay for the engineering. And Paul had applied for a grant for that. We just learned today that we did not get that grant. So I'll be looking for roughly $350,000 this year to move that goal ahead, and we'll probably use monies that we set aside for Route 6 and intersections a couple of years ago to move that forward. But it will take, to get us to the 25%, which then turns it over to the transportation improvement plan, and then we won't have to pay for things after that, once it's accepted there. We probably do have at least a couple of more years of engineering work to do. And if we have to slow it down because we don't have money, then it might, you know, be 3 years as opposed to 2 years.
In progress.
But it's in progress.
When it says expand electric charging stations, replace the ones, I thought we were just gonna replace the ones that
We're doing
we
both.
have.
We're replacing and expanding.
What's the expansion?
We're gonna add some here.
That are much faster, they're 480s.
Well, that's the replace. That's not the expand, is it?
No, it's both. The replace is
Okay.
I always get it mixed up which way it goes, but the replace is, I think, level 2, which is the slower charging, and then the expansion would be level 3, which is all along the back here.
Okay.
For the NEVI grant, which is a federal transportation grant. And then I think the Climate Action Committee has been discussing as well, if we, with the new policy, electric first hybrid, and then fuel
Right.
policy for selecting autos, is that at some point in the future, perhaps the DPW or any other department might have more electric vehicles, in which case maybe we build some sort of charging stations for municipal use at, say, the DPW, if they're buying electric vehicles of some sort.
All right. Do we, going back to Route 6 and the plans, does wastewater affect some of the timing on this? What we might have to dig
no.
up or anything?
No.
Not if we're only
Because
going to
we'll
be
be-
25% in 2 years.
Hopefully, we'll be doing all of our wastewater before we get to
To
the.
Route 6. Yeah, yes, let's
And the
hope,
tip-
yes.
I mean, the tip is historically a very slow process. But the notion is, once you get the plans to 25%, then the Transportation Improvement Plan, which is a countywide, statewide plan, takes over. And if we are recommended for the tip, then the state pays for the rest of the expense, and we don't. So it's very critical. And Eastham has never had a tip program, so I think they're going to be pretty excited when we bring one forward. So,
Jerry?
Yes,
Question.
yes.
Well, I think maybe just, it's on our agenda too, recognizing some of the current programs that we already have are successful and needing more support. I'm just curious, like, for instance, with the charging stations, like, and again, it's more, I know they're totally different things, totally different projects, but also the fact that it's still town money and at the end of the day that funds a lot of this and where we want to allocate that, right?
I think some of those are grants.
yeah, those
Are
are,
the.
Most of the charging station stuff is
Is gonna be
a
grant?
grant.
It is.
There's a
Yeah.
small amount of a match.
Okay.
we have 3 grants out for right now.
For them.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I just was curious only because too, like some of the conversations that we had at the last meeting was the probability of a lot of actual DPW vehicles and things like that granted in the next 20 years. Maybe that'll change, but right now we're not really looking at those vehicles as being EVs in the
Right.
immediate future. And the reality of like how useful it's going to be for the actual town versus service for people that are here visiting. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I think even the Climate Action Committee discussion was whether you have charging stations or do it is one of the things goes into the equation, whether you even purchase an all-electric vehicle or a plug-in hybrid. If you don't have the charging stations, then it's just not something you do,
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, I think it goes back to maybe one of the few arenas where Bob and I might overlap in like thinking about how town money is being spent and are we allocating it in spaces where maybe we want to consider it being somewhere else or something.
And if you want me to, I can do another column of whether we're trying to use grant money or town
That'd
money.
be,
That
yeah,
might be really
good.
nice, not just for us, but for everybody else too, anybody else that might
Yeah.
look on our packet and see
I mean,
that.
most of our initiatives moving forward are some combination of both.
And it's kind of a flex for the town. It should show off when it
Yes.
is able to access
Yeah.
funds through grant money or, any type of outside funding, so people know we are trying to do that.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Is the electric vehicle charging stations, is that also one of those, we can't make money off of it, we can only charge as much to cover the service?
No, I thought we just increased the fees.
We did, but we
You can
did it
but
to,
typically, the requirement is that you're not supposed to be generating profits off of services, because otherwise it's just another form of a tax. That's kind of the broad overview of fee setting. So you're supposed to identify your costs and, recover your costs of providing a service. So I think that's what the fees that we set a year and a half ago or 2 years ago tried to do, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're saying the fees are reflective of not providing a service or of
of providing the service, but
Okay.
not of, like if it was on a private property, they would be
higher fees.
They would be a higher fee because they were trying to make money off of
Yeah, we
it.
don't, the bottom line is we don't want our taxpayers to have to pay for somebody else charging a vehicle.
Right.
However,
We also don't want our taxpayers.
we
to
also
have to-
don't want to overcharge someone for charging a vehicle. So that's the science that, and the art that Rich has to figure out is, what is the energy use cost versus what we're charging.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess I could talk about this for a while, but we can move on.
All right. Okay, we will move on.
They don't have to be on the goals, but we did apply for a grant.
All right.
I could really dig in here.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's not the time.
On that note, we'll move on the agenda. All right,
Thank
community,
you so much for the list. I appreciate it.
yeah, community fund discussion. And I think that's Rich again.
Yep, so tax bills went out, and as part of that, we wanted to make sure that we had a consolidated landing page on our website, which I'm not sure if it's done today or not. If not, it'll be launched tomorrow, because I was reviewing some of it today. So we have on our website now one central spot under How To and under Services, or if it's not there, it will be, for taxpayer assistance. And we have all our programs listed. So the new resident taxpayer assistance fund, the old taxation aid fund, the taxpayer work-off program, and the angel fund that supports that, which is where volunteers do work for the town, but instead they volunteer their time to go to people elderly that can't necessarily do the work-off program, but they can take advantage of somebody else's hours. So we have that, and then listing all the exemptions. And so all that is going to be one spot, and we're going to put a link on the homepage to it. It's a timely time of year to have that, so you can refer people to our homepage, our website, and they can click on a link, and they'll get to and have access to all the applications for each of those programs. And then we'll start promoting all that. So once we get that, what'll happen in the next week or two or longer will be some posts on social media and other blasts that we can do to direct people to that page if they need assistance. All that's a long way of saying I've kind of come back to the Residential Taxpayer Assistance Fund, which we initially called the Eastham Community Fund, which now has a much more broad overview. And I really, not really looking for anything today, other than I want to keep the momentum going. We're going to start promoting the community fund concept in this page with the taxpayer assistance programs. And I would like to formalize some of what we're doing with the community fund and expand it. And these, in my mind, and this is a policy discussion for the board, we're looking for things that assist our residents and our taxpayers that are beneficial to them. For example, like a helpful neighbor fund. We have some monies that we appropriated some years ago that we've been using for if somebody has an emergency and needs something taken care of, that could be a fund in addition to the taxpayer assistance fund. There could be any number of funds, and I'd like to consider expanding that so that when we do solicitations and marketing, we've got a stable of funds underneath the Eastham Community Fund umbrella that people can contribute to as they see fit. And then the big reach here would be, as I think I've mentioned to a couple of you, I have pretty grand ideas here of within the Eastham Community Fund, we could have the Eastham Community Endowment Fund, which is money that gets donated that does not get used. The principle, it's invested for the long term and generates income that we could allocate to each of the funds that the select board approves within the umbrella of the Eastham Community Fund. And I want to set an ambitious goal of $1 million and see if we can raise $1 million to seed that endowment fund and really build something. And then finally, I don't want to change any aspects, not that we can anyway, but we have the Timothy Smith Fund that hasn't been significantly invested over the years. If that were brought into the umbrella of the community fund, certainly the income from the endowment fund could help continue to support that program. It'd be exactly the same as it is now. It's just another fund within the community fund that when people go to our landing page to see all the different funds we have, that could be something they could contribute to. And if we have a successful endowment fund, that can continue to seed that so we can send future generations of children to college or trade school.
Would we be able to do something like, one thing I've seen more now, so because of where I'm at, but is that with a lot of families who have kids in town and they need to register for like whether it's rec or I don't think there's no charge with after school, is there? Or is there? There is charge.
There is.
Right. Could we have a fund to help, offset those expenses for families that have to?
Exactly, and that's the idea is this, I believe you adopted the guidelines of the Eastham Community Fund, where the select board would approve each fund that's established within it, but also exactly what it's for. That way you have very defined, discrete programs and purposes. And so if that's a purpose that the select board wants to promote and provide for, then we should do that. And
Yeah,
I'm sure there are people that would contribute to it.
Yeah, I just am looking at like, what are people using now already in town? What's obviously a success in town and how do we build on that? Because obviously there's a need if the program's being used. So how do you build on that? So,
Exactly.
okay, thank you. I'd like to see that.
Suzanne? Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say something. Never mind. All right. So we will look forward to further discussions and some proposals on that and kind of looking at marketing for it in the sense that can be viewed as a negative term, but information out there so people will know of it and can be part of it and get to it. I have one question. Rich, you had a video talking about the Taxpayer Assistance Fund that was on the website. Did you get any responses coming back from that kind of information? If people looking at it anyway? I'm not sure.
But yeah, it did get quite a bit of viewage, and I don't know if it's necessarily from that, but as of last week, we got a donation from somebody who didn't think he needed to take advantage of the RTE, so he donated $250, and now we have a system set up to receive and properly acknowledge contributions. And so we're off and running, ready to accept any contributions that anybody wants to give to that Taxpayer Assistance Fund.
That's great.
Right, excellent.
Rich, do you think it would be helpful once, this has some traction to consider I'd be willing to do kind of like what Amy did with the RTE, like go to the library once a month if I can pull it off with my schedule and be available for people who have questions about this particular program. And so that people can understand the application process, if they qualify or not. Sometimes it's easier just to sit and talk with someone after hours, so.
And I think Colleen, our assessor, will be taking a week off, well-deserved break. But when she's back,
Yeah.
I think we have a plan to go out and
Great.
assist people. So setting
Yeah.
up things. And
Yeah,
she's at the senior center today. And after next week, we'll do some more.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help.
My comment, I guess, is wondering, because you're asking for other fund ideas, and I guess I would like to hear from other people of what they're interested in a fund, what they might
You mean
need.
staff maybe even, just because they interface a little more?
Well, we did the Taxpayer Assistance Fund because we identified that need in that group of people, but we have discussed a variety of different options, and I would like to provide people with options so that they could donate based off of their interest, but someone also needs to use it.
Like a survey, how likely
Yeah,
are you
I
to
just-
donate to, or how likely are you?
Pretty common thing that happens within there's a lot
Yeah.
of community foundations across the state and the country.
So we could
So it's not too dissimilar from that, but, so that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this is, because we have on the books now, out of the several hundred funds that we technically have on our books, a couple dozen maybe, that have minuscule amounts of money, and it was some sort of donation that somebody made, and nobody really knows the reason anymore and what it should be used for or not used for. So by consolidating a fund within the community fund, you have designated something that, hey, if you want to contribute some money, this is the funds we got. And, unless you're going to offer up something substantial like Timothy Smith, and you want to have your own named fund, and you're willing to put a lot of money behind it, let's stick to our programs.
Right.
It's important for me to contribute towards housing and our housing goals, or it's important for me to contribute towards open space purchases or maintenance, or, water, clean water, or whatever they want to leave money to.
But part of the policy of the community fund would be, is not uncommon for community foundations and other to open up if somebody wants to contribute money for a purpose. And that would be part of the ultimate policies that you would have over the community fund is, what is it that the guidelines that you need to see in order to accept a new fund?
Would it be helpful if like there was like a date that you maybe would receive suggestions from everybody on the board on like maybe what we would like to see as some of these sub-funds? Is that kind of what you're looking for?
Yeah, well, I think, I don't know if it'll be for the next meeting, but in an upcoming meeting pretty soon, I'll write up a proposal based on what I've heard.
And so maybe within the next 2 weeks, we could email you some of our suggestions and then that could be part of the presentation.
Sure.
If it seems like there seems to be some consistency.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, in that time, if you want to solicit feedback from people that you deal with in the community, you can do that too.
Okay.
And this would still be for residents to then apply to the town for money from the fund, whatever.
Whatever the guidelines that you
Okay.
adopt are, it could be different for each individual fund.
Okay. How many funds are you looking for?
I don't want to get too crazy too fast. So
I mean, I don't either because I'm like already a little overwhelmed. Like, oh, we're gonna have to like come up with a policy for all of these different funds.
It's a little tiny baby steps at a time.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, unless someone's going to call Rich tomorrow and say, I'd like to donate $1 million and I have a specific use that I would like you to do,
Okay.
then we might have to speed up a little. But
Okay.
and we're open to that.
There you are. All who are listening, there you are. It would be nice, I think, Rich, when you put it together, to kind of have a presentation looking at what you're proposing and kind of listing all the funds and a little discussion on each one so that the community knows what's out there and what we're doing. As you know, there are a lot of little funds and some people don't know. And there's some things that we have that can help an individual if they don't know it. So that would be excellent.
I had another comment that straddles is somewhere between our goals, the community fund and the community preservation fund. Between all of this is we were going to look at other tax exemptions for town meeting, and if we could put that on our select board goals, because then we can check it off.
The one that.
Yeah, the expansion of the RTE for year-round rentals.
No, the veterans.
The veterans.
And the HERO Act
And then I
expansion.
don't know if we have this, do we have the CPA exemption?
We don't. We discussed it. CPA did discuss it for last year, and because of RTE, it was pushed off. But that's also there. That was the low income and moderate low income for seniors, exempting them from whatever the CPA percentage we have is.
All three of those are already on our list for potential town meeting articles, but we
Right.
can definitely add them to
Yeah.
goals.
Just, to add them on the goals list because they're,
We've been talking about them. Yeah. No, that's
because they feel like we put things on the warrant, right? So it seemed very much like us goal sort of thing. Anyway, that's all. It was
Okay.
between the,
All right.
What's the overall category, Suzanne, of that?
I would have to go in, would it be under improve quality of life, health?
Yeah, but
No.
what's the goal? Reduce taxes for
I mean,
Assistance programs.
it's,
increase assistance programs?
Expand exemptions.
Expand taxpayer assistance
I
program.
would- yeah, there's probably more things in the strategic plan for like the heading, you mean?
Yeah, but not for this particular
For goals.
item. That's not one of our strategic plan goals.
Okay. All right, on to the next. The CPA Wastewater Infrastructure Fund. Conversation, discussion as we look at, it was in the packet And Rich has talked with, I know with the CPA fund and I believe the Finance Committee on this. One of the things that was mentioned when we presented to the town at the special town meeting for wastewater, the idea of potentially $600,000 coming in from CPA, changing the CPA designation percentage and using that fund for funding parts of wastewater. So, Rich, I think this is yours again, or?
Yep. So I did meet with the CPA committee last week, not the finance committee yet, but perhaps at the next meeting. So I'm updating you all at the select board. And then I'm sure I'll go back to each of those three committees at least once or twice more until we get to a point where we have some recommendations for you from each of the committees and from Jackie and I for a potential town meeting article, which is what would be required to make any change. So the Community Preservation Act, and I always forget the dates exactly, but I think it was 2000 or 2001, converted from the old Land Bank to Community Preservation Act. And that had a 20-year time horizon, in which point it sunset, but you had, meaning that during that 20-year period, you could not get out of it if you were in it. But that ended in, I think, 2019 or 2020, and now you have the opportunity to get out of the CPA surcharge business if you so choose. But in the intervening years, a new fund was introduced called the Wastewater Infrastructure Investment Fund, which I'm just going to call WIIF, because that sounds appropriate. And the WIIF fund allows you to charge a 3% surcharge as well, similar to CPA. It doesn't have to replace it. It could be additive. It could add, so you could have a 3% CPA surcharge and a 3% WIIF surcharge for a total of 6% on top of your property taxes, which is not what we're looking to do. What we're looking to do is fund our wastewater plan and find non-property tax sources that currently exist to subsidize and pay for it, so as minimal as possible hits the tax rate. And so what some towns on the Cape have done, and I have to go back and revise my list, but Yarmouth has done it, Dennis has done it, and I believe Harwich has done it, and perhaps Sandwich, and a bunch have considered it. Typically, they're splitting the total 3% surcharge of the current CPA into something else, and the difference going to the WIIF. So you still have an overall 3% surcharge. I believe Dennis split it a 2% CPA surcharge and a 2% WIIF, so they added a percentage on top of the overall surcharge. But what I had proposed, and I had done the calculations, a year or two ago when we first started thinking about this, a couple years ago, I guess, 1.5% represented about $600,000 of revenue. That if we decreased the CPA surcharge from 3 to 1.5 and added a WIIF at 1.5, we would have $600,000 through the WIIF to pay for debt service that would be existing money, not new money added on to the tax rate, and therefore help our taxpayers accordingly. Since that time, as the levy increases, the value of 1.5% increases, and right now 1.5% is worth about $650,000. And so if you look at the sheet that's in the packet, you can see I've got 25 and 26 there, showing actual surcharge at 3%, the local surcharge. And then you see down below a row for state matching funds. In 25 was a little over 18%, and in 26 it's estimated to be 16%, just about. And that's round one, that's the state match. Round two, called the equity distribution round, is a smaller amount, and round three, the surplus distribution round, is an even smaller amount. Rounds 2 and 3, you lose access to if you're not charging the full 3%. So that's why I broke that out a little bit. But you can see
Charging full 3%, you mean 3% just
CPA.
with CPA? Oh, CPA, oh, I see.
Yeah, just CPA.
Just
So,
CPA.
that's if it drops to 1.5.
Then we miss out.
Yeah.
So in 25 and 26, you see $1.2 million and almost $1.4 million in CPA revenue. And that's the total townwide surcharge in green there. And the proposal, the initial starting point was what's 1.5 look like starting in FY27. And you can see as the levy grows, up to 43.3 million in 27 is the projection. These are based on the 5-year projections I went over with the Finance Committee. 1.5 gives you about 650,000 of local surcharge. I'm assuming that the 2026 matching percent is going to continue. It does change, goes up, it goes down. But we think it's probably going to be relatively steady in the near term. So you apply that 16%, that's $103,000 of state match. We would participate in round 2 and 3 in 27 because it's based on your prior year participation. So in 2027, we get about 786,000 of CPA revenue, down from the 1.4, so not quite half. But we'd put 650 in the blue line here into the WIIF. Then in 28, you notice I have the numbers there just for reference, but they're not calculated in the totals. We don't get that round 2 or round 3 distribution, just the match on the 1.5% at about 16%.
Well,
And you see that
what's the distribution? The round 2 and 3?
what is it?
The extra money that we would get from the state.
The state gives extra
We do
money
3%
if you
CPA.
go up to 3%, if you pull 3% for CPA.
Okay.
And if you don't, you are ineligible for round 2 and 3. If
Okay.
you have a number below 3% for CPA.
Okay. And then round 3, how do you get to round 3?
Same
It's the
thing.
same,
Same thing.
same.
Oh.
State's going through 2 and 3 are together, they go through it, and it probably has something to do with how much money they have left.
Right, it does.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a surplus round the state has, and then they distribute it.
Okay.
But that's why there's rounds 2 and 3.
Okay, thanks. Sorry.
Why they have a third round. So if you go below 3%, you lose rounds 2 and 3, and you get, of course, a smaller amount in round 1, because you're not collecting as much.
Okay.
But that round 1 comes, no matter what percentage we have, we get the round 1 of, what is this? The 16% of whatever we collect, whether it's on CPA or whatever number we
Okay.
use.
All right, thanks.
So in that scenario, starting 2028, you see that down at the bottom under the green line here, I have a section called Potential Matching Revenue Foregone. So we are foregoing in 2028 the 33,000 from round 2 and 3, and we're foregoing, if we're at 1.5%, a potential another 1.5% would give us $106,000 in a match from the state, for a total of about $140,000, which grows a little bit each of the next 4 years. So so we're saving our taxpayers money by repurposing, reprioritizing what we have currently to different purposes, but it does come at a cost, as in the form of reduced state revenues. But one of the things I did is I added up from 2028 through 2032, this is the orange line, the amount of CPA revenue we would get, and it comes to a little over almost $4,250,000. So that's what the back of this page is the 5-year history of what we spent in the prior 5 years. And I'll cut to the chase. Actual projects, not including set-asides, which is something we should talk about, but actual projects completed over the prior 5 years was less than the $4.2 million that we're projected to collect over the next 5. And that included some pretty big projects, like the town hall renovation for over $1 million, acquiring 580 Massasoit, renovating the schoolhouse museum, renovating the lighthouse. Likely aren't going to happen again, or not least not for a long time. So that's kind of what the back of this shows, is how much have we actually done. So all things being equal, from the prior 5 years to the next 5 years, this lower amount of revenue would be sufficient for what we've done historically. And I don't know what people might ever apply for, but
And we have a page in our packet that has our current balances for each of those.
So this excludes over $2.3 million currently in reserves for various purposes.
Okay, so that in our packet, that's not the balance in each reserve.
It is.
Total.
2.3 is the total, but you have one that just shows the detail. Open space, 571,000, historic resources,
Right,
86.
and so that's if someone had a CPA application for open space, that is the amount, the maximum amount that the
No.
CPA has.
That's what they have designated just for them. It can't be used for anything else. But if you get more than, if a request is more than $500,000 and CPA and the town think it's good, they can take it from the unreserved portion, which is,
Right, so that's what I was saying, is that if someone came forward with an open space application, that they would start with that, that bucket.
yes.
Right,
yes.
okay. And then we have for special purposes.
It's recreation.
Oh, okay.
So that's the discussion we had at the CPC. I guess a couple of finer points that kind of came out of the discussion, which is why we'd like to go to everybody and talk this out, is in our financial projections of wastewater and getting to the, I think we had told everybody that the debt service alone would cost about $500 of property tax for debt service. That $500 figure relied on a $600,000 reduction or $600,000 funding from the WIIF. But as you see, in year one, we're getting $650 because the tax levy has gone up. So that would be point A, well, maybe one of the first points is 1.5, it doesn't have to be 1.5%. It could be some fine-tuned number that gives us exactly $600,000. Of course, it will go up every year as the tax levy goes up, but not starting at $650 at least. So we could, play that a little bit, play that out. It doesn't necessarily have to start in FY27. We could start in FY28. My preference would be to start in 27 because even though we won't have debt service yet, we really need to beef up the wastewater stabilization fund, and this would be one way to do it. Because we do need to smooth over debt service as it comes on and other stuff comes off. So having that in the stabilization fund would help with that process. And then I have a note number 2 here in 2032, and it could really be any year, but this isn't a forever decision. You can change your mind. You just can't change it in the middle of a year. You probably don't want to be changing it every year, but we could have a policy where let's start somewhere.
Yep.
Let's revisit this in 3 years or 5 years and make an adjustment in the future. Once we know a little bit better how everything kind of shakes out and where we stand.
And this is a town meeting vote.
Yeah. You, I would go back on this if you wanted just $600,000 to sound, let's say how that goes. So let's say instead of 1.5%, it would be 1.46 or whatever the number is. The math will come up with it. For the next year, would we keep that number or would you change the number so it backs out that we only get $600,000?
I wouldn't want to vote this every year because every year would be a tweaking of the percentage.
Also,
So-
I feel like if we're not gonna be doing 3% for the CPA, why wouldn't we just do 1.5 and 1.5? Like, why would we have to, what would be the advantage to tweaking it to a point where it would come out to 600,000 for WIIF?
Because that's what we're relied on in our projections for wastewater, and
Right.
people seem to be satisfied with that level of tax burden, and it preserves more money for the Community Preservation Act.
And
Let me
You
just,
could tweak it after 3 years.
right, but let me just, Jerry, say 2 more things that are pertinent that didn't exist a couple of years ago that do now. A, if you're concerned that the $4.2 or $4.3 million over the next 4 or 5 years isn't sufficient for funding of CPA, one of the things we could consider, especially with a significant purchase like open space or some sort of housing, is we don't need to have cash on hand. We can borrow at low rates and make that $4.3 million in future revenues paying for debt service. So we can get much more bang for our buck by borrowing and using the CPA revenues to fund that debt service.
Fund the debt service.
That's A. And then one of the big changes, we've always kind of been hamstrung with CPA funds for housing because it was always limited to 100% of AMI. Well, the draft seasonal communities regulations that just came out allow us to do up to 200%. And so now we have an ability perhaps to do some more workforce housing with our CPA funds. So maybe, that wasn't a contemplation a couple of years ago, but now all of a sudden that might be an attractive, having more CPA funds available for housing might be an attractive funding source.
One crazy question on it, because I just did a brief look at those regs when they came around. Because we're a seasonal community, we can spend funds for housing for employees of the town. But that would not come out of CPA funds, right? That would not be affordable housing. That would have,
If we were building housing, right?
Yeah, we could designate it for, I think it's not just town employees. I think it has to be public safety, maybe even.
Or workforce.
might have been, but it could be just public safety, but.
Public safety, but it's a little bit broad.
Broader.
A little bit broader.
So the question is, I think.
Police, fire, DPW.
Right.
Two categories.
I think I saw, I don't know, I think it doesn't have to be building, it can be helping them with rents as well, I think, looking at it. I just don't know, but none of that would come out of CPA funds. CPA funds are limited to affordable housing, and it's looking at going up to 200% AMI as opposed to 100% AMI. Okay. Now, could you just go back to the Community Preservation Fund report, which has 2.3 million in those reserves, but there's a balance reserve for encumbrances of 1.7 million. What is that?
Those are projects that have been approved.
Projects that have been approved that we haven't expended on it yet, because you get the money after the work is done.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. So, and also the 4 million you look at over the 5-year projection going forward, if they stayed kind of same with what we get, and we've spent 4 million, that would not reduce any of those fund balances. We would just be, that's the money we take in, we could send the money out, and those fund balances would remain the same.
Yep, so that's basically how I look at it, is over the next 5 years, starting in 2028 through 32, we'd earn about $4.3 million in revenue, and we're sitting on about 2.3 million of reserves. So that's 6.6 million of funding available over the next 5 years.
So if we spent 4.3, which is what we took in, you'd still have a reserve of 2.3 million. All right.
How did you?
I just have a question, Rich, about the round one matching, where this past year we got 18, and then it's only gonna be like 16. And you have that all the way through 2032. Is that what the state is saying?
No, the state's not saying anything past 26. It's just my assumption that
It's not gonna
we
go
just
higher,
don't feel like
probably.
it's gonna get, I mean, this has been a slow decline over
Yeah, I
the
was gonna
past
ask
20
that.
years.
Historically, where did it start?
Like 100%.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, we used to get, it was well worth being at that's why you got a lot of people at 3%. Yeah. And that's one of those things, well, it's always been 3%, we're gonna keep it 3%. And when it sunsetted, nobody ever thought now we don't need to do this anymore. Yeah. But we don't get 100% match anymore. We don't even get 50% match. It's been over the 20 years, as basically what happened is you had the Cape Cod folks and some, Martha's Vineyard and a couple outliers, Acton, things like that. That when Cape Cod all went from the land bank to the CPA, and then you had a handful of others. So the participation across the state wasn't as broad, so there was a lot more money available to fund the CPA. So those that were in early really got some good matching. And then as more people over the years join in, it kind of diluted the pool a bit. And those matching amounts, especially in the subsequent pools, dropped way down.
Got it.
How is the CPA committee feeling about this?
Well, they didn't take a vote. They were receptive. I wouldn't want to say much more than that, other than they considered it, and I told them I'd brief you in the finance committee and come back and talk to them. Once I've heard from everybody, maybe we make some tweaks to this. I might present them with a little more formal thing for their consideration. So it's
Yeah,
a work in process.
I would love to the CPA committee and the finance committee, I would appreciate whatever recommendations they would come up with to us, not that we would follow them, but would yeah, but it would be great to receive those before we move forward. Plus, this would be just to put it on the warrant, because it has to be it has a town meeting vote.
Well, your intent would be to get votes from them before you come back to the select board, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Carolyn has her hand raised.
Carolyn?
online.
I think so.
Yep.
She was just here.
Yeah, she,
I just promoted her to talk.
All right, Carolyn. Well, that's fine. We can hear what she has to say.
Oh, we can't hear you.
is it because of their,
It's a little squeaky noise, or is that
Well,
me?
Let me try a different, Carolyn, I'm going to promote you to panelist and see if that works better.
and if it doesn't, it's okay, we can hear from you the next time. We're not voting on it today, Carolyn.
It lists the speakers as possibly your laptop. Try Simtrix.
Yeah, phone.
There we go.
There
That's
We
the
can
one.
hear.
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate the opportunity to talk. I'm sorry I had to leave. I had to pick up the grandkids. But Zoom in the car is an interesting experience. There are just a couple comments that I wanted to make as you're, going forward thinking about this. One is that in Rich's handout, which he put together for the CPC committee, the summary of the monies that have been spent in the last, I forget how many years he was talking about, 5 years.
5 years.
Yes, but one of the actions that the committee took starting a couple of years ago was, instead of funding the Affordable Housing Trust, was to reserve that money informally for housing programs. As we all know, the next biggest housing endeavors that we'll be undertaking will be related to town center and tea time, which will be extremely large programs. And so that list of programs and expenditures doesn't totally reflect expenditures for housing that are earmarked, so to speak, for future of those projects. So that's just one thing. And that was an actual decision made by the CPC committee in consultation with Rich and the Affordable Housing Trust. So that's one item. The second item is that in losing the match from the state, that loses a substantial amount of money. And by my calculation, for looking at Rich's document, it comes out to, in the future, 15 to 18% return on investment, so to speak. The collection that we make in taxes, the amount we get back from the state. Given that the wastewater funding, Rich said at the CPC committee, will be somewhere between, a very low rate, 0, 1, 2%, giving up an 18% return, or it seems like maybe not the best choice to make. Pardon me. That maybe consideration of other sources might be better that don't have such good returns.
All right. Thank you, Carolyn. Appreciate that.
Just what Carolyn's referring to on the back page of the projects, just so you get a sense of the scope of it, is if you look at that first housing column, You see I have, private projects, town projects, and then town set aside. So that's 300,000 that went to the housing trust, and the next year, another 300,000 went to the housing trust. And the 24, another 300,000, which I believe went to the housing trust. So I believe the housing trust has somewhere, a magnitude of $900 million of CPA money that it's, sitting on. And then
No.
No?
Not 900 million, not 900
No,
million.
900,000 to a
Thousand.
million, I think is what.
Yeah.
And then in
Man,
20,
25.
no, I'm not seeing it here. 25, I guess I don't have, there was a reservation that's in the CPA housing fund balance. In lieu of sending it to the trust, the CPA retained it and earmarked it, but that's in the 2.3 million, the housing piece of that. And then to Karen's other point on the foregone revenue, I just added up everything that's on the sheet for the 6 years. It's 870,000 total.
For foregone.
For 6.
300
With 1.5. With it at 1.5. Suzanne?
So Carolyn, I'm glad you mentioned that because the housing part, because I thought we had discussed it too, and we had made a plan in setting aside money. That rang a bell mostly, and I don't really have a more pointed question other than it seemed like Eastham through the select board and CPA and the housing trust, we had more or less made also a plan of like, how are we going to fund some of our upcoming larger housing initiatives as well. And
Still can.
yeah. And
Well, I think that's the kind of the challenge. And I guess I break it down this way a little bit is we know pretty much, I guess subject to change till we get the final bids and everything, but generally we know what's in front of us for wastewater. We don't know what's in front of us for housing or for how long, or what the time horizon is.
Yeah.
And so we have time to adjust, perhaps. Would it be nice to always be setting something aside and growing something for an eventuality? Of course, that would be great. It's kind of what we do with our stabilization fund. But given the limited resources, we can only do what we can do. And so this is trying to be responsive to people feeling pressed on property taxes. Does it cost us? And is it perhaps not most financially prudent move? Maybe not if you had everything at your fingertips, right?
All right.
can I ask another question?
Yes.
I think we very quickly are not interested in adding a WIIF on top of the 3%. The 3%.
You don't want to go to 6, huh?
No, I don't. I don't want to. But I just wanted to clarify my understanding of it is that so it feels a little funny for that option, which we're not going to do, to have added a tax on top of a tax to pay for wastewater. Like that's how it feels in my brain.
Well, we wouldn't add it
Different
because
way.
if we were to add another 3%, why bother? Just
Right.
put it on the
Right.
tax rate.
Right.
Well,
This is a
yeah,
reprioritizing, repurposing
Right.
of something that already exists.
That
Right.
you're already
So-
taking, yeah.
right. I guess I just found it interesting that other towns did add it on top of their CPA. And are you saying that, so we're just adding it onto the tax roll and they chose to add it on their tax roll via a WIIF?
Well, I think
They probably did both. I
Oh.
mean, I'm sure they did a mix, just like we're doing a mix of different
Okay.
funding sources.
so the one community that I'm aware of that did a 2 and a 2, that's an increase of a percentage point on their surcharge that hits your property tax. So they increased, without hitting the property tax rate, they actually increased people's property taxes, right? Because
Right.
Yeah.
the CPA or the WIF gets added on top of their property tax. So it's a little bit of a, smoke and mirror thing, right? You pay me this way, pay me that way, but bottom line, it still impacts your property tax.
Well, it gets them past the 2.5%, right?
It does.
Limit.
And, but most of our debt is exempt.
Okay.
I guess the
Yes.
other thing is, if you did a 2 and a 2, maybe, haven't done the math, but perhaps there's an argument to say that you're not foregoing as much revenue and the differential is
A little better, yeah.
better. I don't know.
I mean, that was validating to hear because that was my general understanding of, do you want to do it A or B? Either way, we're paying.
So you said
Already.
a 2 and a 2, you don't lose the,
Well, you would still lose.
That-
oh, you do, it has to
You
be
still
3.
lose rounds 2 and
Okay,
3.
okay,
You
gotcha.
get a little bit more in round 1
Oh, I
because
see,
you wouldn't
I see.
be.
Gotcha.
You know, if we're talking a 50% plus reimbursement
it's
or
worth it.
match, then maybe we're not having this discussion, but we're talking, you know,
Yeah.
15, 16%.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see what the FinCom and CPC committee eventually say on this. All right. Anything else on this?
One more question. I'm
One
really
more
sorry.
question,
So
Suzanne.
you did this projection out to 2032 because you needed to pick a year to have your projection end. And I think I probably asked this before, and I'm going to write it down this time, is how, and you said we could vote on it in 3 years or reevaluate, but about how long were you interested in having the CPA and the WIIF split for?
Well, we use the 600,000 in our projections for all of the debt service, so that's 30 years.
Oh,
So we'd want $600,000 of some sort of funding for the next 30 years.
It would be a decision for someone else eventually.
But,
And if you decide
I don't
not
know,
to
Suzanne
do
will be
it,
my age in 30 years, right?
Hold on.
So,
if you decide not to do it,
Oh,
then we would just tax people more to make up that difference.
oh,
That's
if we
the bottom
didn't do
line.
this scenario,
Right, we need the $600,000.
Need the
You're gonna have to pay, you're gonna have to pay the banker for the $600,000
So it either comes from this funding source or it comes
on
from
the tax.
taxes.
okay, yeah, all right.
and there's no reason I went to 23, I wanted to project this out to show that the tax levy is projected to go up. And as that goes up, 1.5% of a bigger number is a bigger.
Right.
Yes.
Well, it's also you did a 5-year look back. This is a 5-year looking forward in the sense when we would lose rounds 2 and 3.
Right, okay. Thank you. I am done.
All right. Let's now move on to, that's not the wastewater infrastructure. We'll move on to vessel storage. And I think, I don't know, are you the one to turn to on that, Amy, or?
yes.
All right, Amy, the floor is yours.
I've been involved with the lottery since
Day
day
one,
one.
yes.
That's right. So I put the regulations in, really just to point out that nothing would have to change in the regulations. It's more in just the lottery rules
Okay.
that we're looking to hopefully change. And I put that in the packet where it talks about how many spots at each landing. And if you look at those spots, like say, let's start from the top, Hemingway has 5 for disabilities, 45 additional. So there's potential of 50 spots. Well, that number 30 at the end is how many lottery numbers we drew before we filled the 50 spots. So a lot of people have
Oh, put
applied
in
for
doubles.
2.
Oh, I see.
So like 2/3, and you look down the list, those are how many numbers were drawn before all the spots were gone.
Yeah, and that was there so that my wife and I, we have 2 kayaks and I want to
Yeah,
store them.
but then you automatically your number gets
2.
drawn, you get 2. And
Okay,
this year, it seemed really apparent to me, drawing the numbers, that, 2 spots. Hemingway seemed to fill up so quickly with those spots drawn, because the first ones there were only, I think, 5 disabled ones. So those went right away.
yeah.
And so really, it's probably only like 25 numbers we drew before we got the other 45 spots.
Yeah,
So if you look further down, I put in some suggested changes here for, the vessel, the lottery numbers, distributed vessels shall be placed at only one location per lottery number.
Right.
So having each applicant
Has their
gets
own.
their own number. So even if 2 in a household, you can still have up to 2 per household, but they get separate numbers.
So wait,
So you could have, I could get one, but Jan wouldn't get one, that kind of thing. I mean,
Well, you
I'm
could get
just,
one.
I'm not
You
arguing
both-
against
no,
you, I'm
you
just
still
trying to
apply
say.
for two.
You still
Okay.
apply, but
You
you
still,
get a separate
but
number.
there's two numbers then for those two. There's two separate numbers go into the fishbowl.
Yeah, so you apply
Right.
individually.
Exactly.
You buy individually, so
But it's
one-
still
one
only a
could get it,
maximum
but the
of
oth-
two per household.
Right, the other couldn't.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, what
I
about
understand.
Number 5, though.
It says
Well, so that one, yeah, we had people that, applied one in somebody's name with that same address, apply for a different name.
Their
same address,
child's name, same
for
thing.
two more.
Yeah.
And, Scott was just throwing one of them out. Well, my thing, they're trying to game the system. And so I think anyone who does try to apply for more than they're allowed, it's laid out pretty clearly how many you can get per household, that they should be disqualified for that year.
Totally.
If we
They-
find that one household applies for multiple names at the same address,
But that's what Jerry, for
No.
instance, like you and
no,
I.
this is only, you can have two.
Two, this would be a double
But
two.
say.
Oh.
You can't have five.
Their children's
I couldn't put it
names are
in
different.
for-
but
for
then multiple
My wife
entries.
and I, and then one for
Hello.
each of my kids. I
Yeah.
couldn't do that.
Then
Okay.
multiple entries per household are not allowed.
Is not correct.
Is
should
not
be more
is,
than
is,
two.
is incorrect.
Right, it
then.
should say more than 2 entries per household are not allowed.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah,
And is
yeah,
there a
you're
way-
right, in the beginning. I just
What you
said,
wanted to
But
do.
also, is there a way to, okay, unpopular opinion,
Nope, nope.
is this residents only?
yes,
Okay.
that's in the
So
regulations.
they have to prove their residency to apply, no?
Well, they're on the town, just like getting a beach sticker. It's the same computer. They look you up
It's,
to see.
So it's part-time residents and residents.
and residents, it's
It's
taxpayers.
taxpayers. It's just like a beach sticker.
Taxpayers in general,
Right.
okay.
Like a taxpayer
So-
beach stickers only.
You can't like filter out somebody who's under 18?
Well, see, yeah, but see, if they try to do that is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a copy of the application because
But
they
if they
take them
get
down.
caught, they should be like,
Right.
yes,
So
I
what
agree with
what
that.
I think some people were doing was, say the husband's name, they were filling out an application for 2 spots at Hemingway.
Oh.
And then the wife's name, they were filling out another application for 2
Gotcha.
spots at Hemingway.
Right,
So now they had
4.
they had 4. And he was just throwing one of them out. I think they should be disqualified if they do that.
I agree.
Okay.
That was my thought. So yeah, you're right.
And make it known, so people don't do it.
Yeah.
To-
So that, you're right, that could be worded differently, the multiple entries per household.
Right.
So
Actions have consequences.
Well, because you are doubling your odds, let's face it.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you
And
have,
I do think 2 per household maybe should be a limit. I don't know.
Well, and
Is that crazy?
it is. I mean, it
It
already
is
is.
the limit, yeah.
we're going to make that more clear, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2 per household.
What they did was.
And that's in the regulations.
So every application now will just be one person, one application,
Right.
and
One spot.
one application, one person, one spot. And if you want to be kayaking or canoeing with another person,
Well-
they also have to have the lottery drawn for
Yeah.
their one application.
Or
one
you
name,
get a
one spot.
double kayak.
You get
Oh,
the-
Which I have. It's too heavy to put on
and
the
on
car.
that same note, that
But
way.
if you had a spot,
That's right, if I had a spot, that's right.
I've known people that, one wants a kayak at Hemingway, the other one wants a kayak at Great Pond. And in the current application, you can't do that. You can't split them up.
oh,
No.
So I think that needs to change too, but that's all in the lottery rules.
Right.
That's not the regulations.
So the only pushback I see is that you could have an individual spouses trying and one gets it, the other doesn't, so, and that's,
Then they can
you gotta
forego
get,
their
you
spot.
you gotta get a double kayak
Double, or canoe.
or a canoe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can both go in the canoe.
yeah,
It's a
okay.
good problem to
I
have.
see where you,
Good problem to have, yeah.
listen, I've been in this lottery, I've always lost. I've never
See,
won.
this will increase the individual odds. I think.
You'll get it, Jerry.
Right.
well, the truth is, we have what we learned from our recent, we have like 5,800 parcels.
Yes.
And we only have 50, 60, 70, 89, less than a little over 100 slots.
Right.
So right there, if all residents all households want to have their kayak stored. We just, again, it's just like everything else. We are running out of
Right.
real
And yeah,
estate,
we can't fit any more at any location. We've tried.
No, I think these changes make sense. Yeah, I agree. And just the wording on number 5, maybe a little more.
Right, for the
tweaked.
multiple
Yeah.
household, but we
Yeah.
can work on that. And then maybe we'll bring it back next time and Bob will be here and
We can vote on it.
Yeah, we can talk on it with that, but yes, now we.
And I'll talk to
I under-
Scott a little bit.
We
maybe
understand.
about
Yeah,
the-
talk to Scott and
I'll
see
talk
what he
to
thinks
Scott
too.
about the application and the
Thank you.
wording and all
Yeah,
that.
and see what it does.
I hear from a lot of people after I draw their numbers.
Well, it's.
So sorry I didn't pick you.
But it's now out in the public, they see what we're thinking about, so we may hear some.
They
Some
hate
noise
it
on
every
it.
year.
Yeah.
It's a huge
Well,
complaint. It doesn't matter what you do.
We've
Doesn't matter what-
refined
you
it.
can't please- You can't please everybody all the
We've
time.
refined it, every year. We
Yep.
used to allow, people that lived out of town to apply.
Yeah.
But then it got just too, we had, like, one year, we had over 300.
Then you had to go stand in line there for a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that was like, you could bring like a stack of applications for
Yeah.
your neighbors and oh boy, got really, yeah. So we learn, yes. So thank you.
All right.
It's amazing that we have these fabulous resources, and it
Yes.
really would be nice if we had more space, but we don't.
It's tough.
It is hard. And I get it, with 65% of our population over 60, it is rough, man, to load and unload a kayak or a canoe from your car and
Yeah, I understand.
drag it down the beach.
I don't particularly want to do it either.
No. No.
Lifting heavy things over my head.
All right.
How about the inflatable ones? Are they good?
They are.
Inflatable
Yeah.
kayaks?
Hadn't kayak, but the paddle boards.
Yeah, but they weigh almost as much as a hard shell.
Oh, they
honestly.
do?
They're
Yeah, but
not
you could
heavy.
carry it on
Yeah.
a bike or you can,
Just throw it.
Throw it.
They're
There you go.
wonderful.
Just throw it.
It's a backpack,
They-
I like it.
Yeah, that's a little.
Okay, let's
Okay, here we
move
go.
on to the family support package.
Yay.
Thank you, Amy, by the way. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Family support, is that for you, Jackie?
It is,
All right.
I guess.
I guess.
So I wrote in the memo, I was alerted by by Erica that we are over budget for the family support period package for this year. And I explained it. We have more kids, obviously, that want to use the service. And we had a couple of people that forgot to reapply. So we do have some people waitlisted right now. But, we're $44,500 over the budget. So we don't even get nervous until it gets over 25. But then getting near 50
Yeah.
made us nervous. So I went through the stats. One of the things that we've always found is that we have children on the census who don't apply and children who apply that aren't on the census. It doesn't necessarily mean they don't live in town. They can prove they live in town. It's just that they're not,
Filling it out.
they're two separate groups sometimes. So that makes it harder. We can't go with school numbers because they're not in school yet. So the census is really what we have to use to plan the budget. So I just went through the whole thing, and I think we have to plan next year for at least 80 children. And if we keep the subsidy the same, then 80 children would be $525,000. So we'd need an additional $135,000. Now, I could be wrong. We could get 86 children apply next year. Who knows? But hopefully 80 will be sufficient. And so I asked you some questions. So the rest is kind of on you. So if you want to keep the subsidy the same and go up to 80, then we need to find $135,000 more dollars, which we do not have in the operating budget. So that would require an override.
Which would require a vote.
Which would
Town
require.
meeting.
Yeah. Or we,
And an election vote.
No.
No.
Just
This would-
annual town
Annual
meeting.
town meeting.
yeah.
Annual town meeting and then
Yeah, and we
an
could,
election vote.
we could go back to reducing that subsidy for under 3-year-olds to $2,500 but,
I don't want to reduce this. I'd rather let the people vote on that.
okay.
Do we have a rough idea of how much adding $135,000?
We haven't done that math
Oh,
yet.
to the
Yeah.
Yeah, like moving forward, like a 1-year override, but then adjusting the budget moving forward, how that would happen.
It'd be added into the budget.
Well, we could do it this time. We could also put an escalator in there, couldn't we, Rich? Well, like I'm saying, an override
Playing
for
poker? What's going on here?
$135,000 that increases 2.5% a
Would
year.
it be one of
Yeah.
our new funds?
One of,
Well,
well, you could
That
do
would
that.
anticipate an increase in that number
to
of
be a budget
children,
item.
because
Yeah.
2.5, that's,
One of-
I think
one of
that's
the-
a little ambitious.
Jamie, when we talked about the override of $300,000 for police officers, it was $46 on the
It's a lot, because it's
Average-
annually. You're raising the
average
money
tax
every
bill.
year.
It's $46 on the average tax bill for that $300,000. And I can't imagine it's much, so I would admit with 150,
So less
you're
than
looking at.
$20.
You're looking at 25.
Rich will be able to tell you, it's
6.25.
just that he can't tell you tonight.
I know, but I mean, that's
No, a
but
third
that's
of
the
that.
number you're looking at, and that would be every year.
Yeah.
And it would shift it, yes.
But that's assuming, you're right, Amy, that assumes static
Right.
number of children.
No, it doesn't, because if you read my memo, we have 76 existing children right now that qualify that are not receiving the subsidy. So this budget assumes that a certain amount of babies are not going to go into childcare, a certain amount of 1-year-olds aren't, a certain amount of 2-year-olds aren't. You know, but it is an entitlement that we're offering to everyone who's eligible.
And
so-
once they're in there for a number of years.
Yes.
And so that is,
Until
to a
5.
degree, stable in
Yes.
that respect.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the idea that this is a program that this board had, with a lot of work, obviously,
Yeah.
from staff, we're able to put in place and is successful.
Yeah.
People are using it and people need it. And
Yes.
that's what we're trying to do with everything that we've just been talking about tonight, even. And so for that reason alone, I feel like I would want to do everything possible to try to service the people on the wait list this year and expand the program to fit everybody moving forward.
Is there any way we can come up with that money for the waitlisted people?
Yes.
I think we have,
It's a one-time.
we have the unspent money
Yes.
from the article that's,
And that's, if it's a one-time thing, like, that's why we didn't come to you last year, because we
had that.
can move it, but we don't, when it becomes a regular thing, not a one-time thing, that seems to be,
And that's what we're seeing.
that's what we're seeing.
People are using the program, so.
So I feel like we do need to ask for, if we're gonna continue at the current subsidy, we're gonna need to ask for more money.
Absolutely.
Which likely requires an override,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
which absolutely requires.
Yes.
But I'm talking right now about these people that are on the wait
Yes,
list.
we can transfer money for those
Okay,
people.
good.
Great.
Rich, did you have something you were trying to say before
Did, before we all started talking.
we all started?
I think just maybe, every time you raise the tax levy, that, whatever that amount of money is, the next year you get 2.5% of that added in to next year's levy. So with the original 490,000, that generated 2.5% of extra that kind of went into other parts of the budget. As part of a policy statement, we could just take, whatever we're appropriating for family support package grows at 2.5% each year, capturing the levy that it's generating and not letting it go to
That would help us.
something else.
Keep pace, I think, better.
Jamie had mentioned you had asked about funds, and I didn't know if having another fund, like a childcare specific fund.
But because this is a service, we want to make sure that it stays in the budget. So
Yeah.
that's why I wouldn't.
I mean, I think the residents voted for this as an override overwhelmingly. It wasn't even a close vote.
Right.
Right.
So I think this was something that was important for the citizens to have. It's clearly been popular, so we're now up to at least 50% of kids are using it, maybe more. So,
And I kind of envision the community fund programs as not something the
People in
town has
here.
adopted as a program, as a
Right,
service that we're
right.
providing, and more of, perhaps niceties or human service things that people want to be generous or supportive, but it's not official program or service of the town that
yeah, we don't want to do that.
we're going to take on,
This is, well, we want to do things to help families stay in Eastham.
Yes.
This is it. People who have to move into Eastham likely have to have both spouses working.
Absolutely.
And so if they have children,
And
they have to do
it's
daycare.
clearly still a subsidy. We are by no means paying for anyone's childcare costs, right? So even if, if a child is in full-time daycare, that's $20,000 a year. We're paying half,
Right.
If they're
which is
three.
very helpful.
Yes. Yes.
But
Right.
Great.
So do you need a vote from us today? Or do we just hold this until, where we are,
Get it lined up for town.
where we are and wait
yeah,
till we get a warrant?
we're gonna wait till we figure out everything else and
Right.
when you get a budget, it'll be
It'll
definitely
be in
additional.
there.
Yeah.
There it is.
And for now, we'll just transfer the money from that reserve that we had, because remember, it started slowly. So the first 2 years, we did have some extra
Some
money.
money, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The last bullet point says some other towns wait to let the subsidy, to set the subsidy amount until after the enrollment period.
Yes.
This allows them to stay within the appropriation and extend services to all eligible children. And I'm mostly just making sure that we addressed all of the things that you asked us
Yeah, well, that
about.
would,
Yeah.
what that would do would lower it. That would basically lower
Right.
the, if
And
you
I-
have more
yeah.
coming, instead of $10,000, oh, we don't have that much money, it has to go down to 8,500.
What they did
So
with
that's
CPA.
what, that's what we,
Yeah. I
that's
don't
what
wanna do
this
that.
would do.
Okay.
But, I mean, I
they
think
need
if
to
it,
know what it's gonna be.
if we ask for an override and it doesn't pass, then that would be the backup.
Right.
Okay. Did we get all of your points?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Great.
And then the fine tune we'll do later, like, is it a lump sum, is it broken up so that people get to decide? That's all strategy we'll talk about later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right, okay. Now, do the funds go directly to the provider, not to the
Correct.
family?
That's right.
Yeah.
Which makes administrative is administratively the town covers that administration.
It's a lot of work, but it's so much better. I mean, I think we have just much more of a sense and more of a connection to the schools too, so.
Yeah.
It's all good.
And I mean, they can go anywhere, but there's pretty much only so many
Right,
places,
right.
I mean, it is the outer
How
Cape.
many places are there in the Outer Cape?
Exactly.
Well, I think we're up to like 12 or
12,
13, right?
Yeah. Wow. That's great.
Because we allow them to go, if you work in Hyannis and you want to go to
Right.
Hyannis,
That's
you can
right.
do that too, so.
All right. The town manager's report.
So I focused on grants, really.
Yeah.
Because,
Speaking of.
yeah, I asked Erica to ask the department heads, and this is just this calendar year,
Well,
guys.
It's incredible.
So it's
the
pretty
fire
good.
department.
Yeah, and we've gotten everything so far except obviously that $575,000 for Route 6.
for
we did
the
not.
road.
Well, it's,
But we're going to struggle forward anyway.
Oh, so that pending awards, we can just
Yeah, you can
Bye-bye.
subtract.
we can take that one out of there.
But, we will be applying for more as they,
Right.
I mean, spring and fall are big periods. And Shayna did just send in all the 3 EV.
Because the one stop for growth, isn't that now that we're a seasonal community, we get some kind of priority on that? So, maybe
We
next
got
year.
1 out of 2. We applied for 2, we got 1. But I do think the one-stop is going to be very important when we move into development of Tea Time and Town Center Plaza.
And not to be hung up on the Route 6 redesign, there's not complete street money for that. Does it not qualify?
Right. Not for Route 6.
Not for Route 6.
Be complete streets, right?
It's state.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a good job by town staff getting
Yeah.
funds, getting grant funds. That helps all of us.
It really does. I mean, we're looking around, and that doesn't include, obviously, any water. I don't know if we had any loan forgiveness, but sometimes we get those too.
Do we have to apply for loan forgiveness? Just curiosity
No,
question.
it's just, yeah.
Just,
At the end of the cycle,
all right,
they decide if they have enough money to give us loan forgiveness.
all right.
Kind of like what we ended up doing with Timothy Smith.
Exactly.
Any more questions for Jackie?
So the USDA, the no work payment,
Yeah.
our USDA grants, due to the shutdown.
Yeah, we have like 5 of them right now.
And yeah, you say Cole Road, Hemingway, Collins Landing, Salt Pond, engineering and design work. And those are all at various stages or? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Salt Pond is the most, well, Cole Road is the most advanced, and then Salt Pond.
And that was Culvert and Herring Passage. Does that put a pause on our work then?
We're not in construction with anything right now. It's all planning and design money. So most of those people can either choose to keep going knowing that sooner or later the money will be there, or they can just pause the engineering and design.
Pencils down, they call it.
Exactly. So but we're not in, if we were in the middle of construction, it would be
More
a
difficult.
concern. Yeah. It's still a bummer.
Yeah, and what-
I
Because
think
it
the
already takes.
The Seashore is doing the best they can. I think what I'm most worried about, what they're probably most worried about is trash, because they do have 2 maintenance people on duty, but, that's 7 days a week,
yeah.
2 people, so.
And with
Oh,
with
the
the nice
seashore.
weather,
We
Yes.
discussed,
more and more people
So
at
I
the beach.
did tell the superintendent, to reach out to Adam or Lisa if we could be of support of
Yeah.
in any
right,
way.
because I feel like in the spring we discussed this because we weren't sure what was going to be happening again because of the unpredictability of the federal government right now. It leaves everybody on their toes and it forces all of the local branches
Yeah.
of government to pick up the slack. We were talking about, whether our DPW was going to have to step up and do the work that was already being done by the federal government or.
And I don't anticipate that. I don't know if this goes on for a period of time. I'm sure there'll be some consequences. At least we are going into the slow season. And they were able to keep rangers, but they're at such low staffing levels because of the freeze. It's been frozen since.
Yeah, they said they had
March or-
1/3 slots are not filled.
Right, so if you
Before
think about
the shutdown.
rangers covering Eastham to Provincetown
Yeah.
with all of those resource areas,
Well, it may be the trash. I remember the 39-day,
and there'll be no
Close.
beach bathrooms
Right.
open either.
No, those are all.
right, the beach bathrooms are, but the 39-day closing was a trash issue in the national parks. And so any help we can give there, fortunately, we only have
Watch it, yeah.
2 beaches that are relatively close together. on that to
And
keep an eye
also,
on.
just if you are visiting the beach or you live here, don't leave your trash there.
Yeah,
right?
take your trash out if
it
it's
out.
full,
Take it
especially.
out.
Or
Right.
if the trash can is
point.
overflowing and you have a trash bag with you, maybe just take some.
So, yeah.
I remember doing that before.
Take
like,
it out, that's
we can
right.
do that.
Very good, Jamie, that's right. What I've heard from friends, the ACA insurance premium notices will be going out next week and the week after, and that might put some pressure on the House, U.S. House and Senate. And then we'll see. Don't know about the threats to permanently fire. I don't know. My friends don't have any insight on that. But, so the hope is by Halloween, people are hoping by Halloween that the government will be open again, but you don't bet too much on it, though. So, all right. New and upcoming agenda items, need a follow-up. I have one question of water contract. And I don't know whether that's us or that has to go to Suzanne's got to call the water commissioners together or not, but where are we looking at that? Is that, how far off in the future is that?
I want to say it's on the board for the 20th.
The
For
next
the
meeting.
12th, for the
Yeah.
next meeting?
Yeah.
I don't know if Jackie's ready, but we'll have her come and talk about it with you anyway.
Okay,
We
Alright.
just got the SRF application in,
all right,
so,
all right.
for wastewater, so we should be able to go circle back to water.
Circle
you
back.
did?
Yeah, right, yeah.
They did, I will
a bit
report that they had a very good they had a very good meeting with the park regarding the permitting, so
Okay, good.
that was very encouraging.
That's, keep offering help with the shutdown.
Well, I mean,
It's nice.
it wouldn't occur to us, it wouldn't occur to me not to,
Not
given
to.
the fact that it is our environment, and they are great caretakers of it
That's
most
right.
of the year, and we
And it's
should help.
our citizens use the
Yes.
beach. I
Definitely.
definitely know,
So,
yeah. Suzanne. Oh, Jamie?
Well, the
We'll both be-
11th of November, not the
No, the
11th.
17th,
The 17th of November,
we'll both be out.
I will not be here.
oh,
And
will
you,
we have to cancel a
I won't be
meeting?
here the 3rd or the 17th.
I won't,
Okay, wait a minute, slow down, Jamie,
Jamie's out the 3rd and
Third
the
and the
17th.
17th.
Out meaning you can't even join by Zoom. Listen, that's not pressure, I'm just asking.
Suzanne is out the 17th?
Yes.
Yeah,
On the 17th, okay.
yeah. The
Okay.
17th,
All right.
yeah, definitely cannot, yeah.
I'm gonna be out in the sense, not here on the 3rd, but on Zoom. On November
Okay,
3rd.
so
Is it the 3rd?
November might be slow month for select board.
and then we'll just cram it all into December. That sounds well.
Yeah.
We have
Amy?
at least 3 of us. I'll be
Yeah,
here.
Bob,
Yeah, you can
yeah.
still,
Bob should be here and I'll be on Zoom,
yeah.
so that's,
That's 3, the one time when Suzanne's not here.
no,
Or will you be here the other
I'll be
time?
here the 17th.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have 3
And we
here.
have quorum every meeting.
We have a
but-
quorum every meeting, so it's just that certain things you might not want to handle if we don't have everybody there. We'll just see what pops up.
Maybe
The water thing would be the most important thing.
We'll all be here for,
Yeah,
well,
it should be.
Should be the 20th, everybody's here.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Next item, the minutes for September 22nd.
make a motion to approve the minutes of September 27th.
Second.
22nd.
22nd, and it's seconded.
22nd.
Any further discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Minutes are approved. And so any other business or correspondence or anything? None?
Motion to
So
adjourn.
I'm looking for,
Second.
did you just say you moved to adjourn, Ann?
And I second.
Do I have a second from Jamie? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? We are adjourned. Thank you.